Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at Jackman's Art Materials watercolor products. These were generously sent to me. I got some tube watercolors from Jackman, and actually Blick sent me some of their watercolor powders. And these are really fun. And the thing that really impressed me about the watercolor powders is that I assumed that they were like Brush Show or Color Burst or any of the watercolor powders that I've already used. But actually these are made with actual light fast artist pigments versus dyes. So I definitely think I will want to get more of these because I've always been a little hesitant to use the Brush Show and the Color Burst and the different sort of sprinkly products I have on big pieces, but I want to use them on big pieces because they're kind of wild and flowy, and you know, you get the best effect when you use them big. But then it's like, well, if I want to use them big, I'm not working in a sketchbook and I want to hang it on a wall, then it will fade. So this really solves that problem. So these are roughly around $6 to $7 a piece on Blick. I'm sure you can find them at different art retailers as well. I believe Jackman's are out of the UK, so they may even be cheaper there. I'm not sure. But they come in these, it looks like a 6-gram containers. The only thing I don't like about this is that there's not a really good way to sprinkle them in the containers they come in, so it's really easy to get too much. You can actually put them in a palette and dilute them and use them like a regular watercolor, but I think sprinkling them on the paper gives them the best results. So these are kind of cool. I do want to find maybe a little shaker or something to put them in, but I'll show you a painting I did with these, using them for kind of the majority. And I do have a tutorial on this in Critique Club. I do have a time lapse on this if you want to see those powders in action, but they are a lot of fun. And you can see you get a little bit more of it, like if you see that flecks in there, the yellow flecks, you get more of an opaque sprinkling effect with these than you would with a Brush Show. So it's just kind of fun. Of course, just like any of those watercolor powders, it's really easy to go too heavy-handed and get too much stuff going on, but it was a lot of fun. I actually did this as kind of an abstract because I didn't know what to paint, so I'm like, well, I'm just going to start with these powders and see what happens, and I ended up making a little tide pool. A lot of fun there. A lot of fun for when you're kind of stuck and you don't really know what you're going to do. Now these other colors are their granulating watercolors, and I put them in this little palette here from Alchemist X's Journey. And look how cute that is. I've been saving this palette for something special, and I thought these paints would be just wonderful for that. And I took these with me to Greece. And I filled the palette, I set it outside in the sun for a couple days to help it dry out. And usually with the granulating watercolors, I like to have full pans, like large areas, because you tend to have to really, I don't know, spray them, use a big brush, get a bunch out to get the most effect, which I do believe is true. I think with if you want that really intense granulating effect, you want to get kind of big juicy washes. But I did find this worked really well, and I'll show you some of the paintings I did in Greece with this. But first I want to show you the swatches that I did at home using these kind of like really, really wet and juicy. And you can see we get some really beautiful granulation. And here you can clearly see the PBK 11 in that one. That's mixed with phthalo blue. That was lunar blue. Let's just go through the colors that they sent. Obviously, they have traditional, regular, non-granulating colors as well. But one thing that I really wanted to test with these was how well are they going to reactivate after they are dried in the pans, because some paints like the Daniel Smith Permatex, a lot of those are really hard to reactivate. And in fact, like Daniel Smith, I'll get the sticks if it's a granulating color I really want, like a Permatech I really want. For one, it's cheaper, and for two, it rewets better. But I was really curious to see how well this was going to rewet, because they do tend to dry hard, any of your mineral-based or your granulating colors. So we have Ultramarine Turquoise, PB29 and PG7. Of course, that's a mix you can make yourself, but it is a beautiful color. We have Deep Sea Green, PBK11, which is your Mars Black, PB72, which is a Cobalt Blue, I believe, and PG7, which is your Phthalo Green, a little bit more subtle of a granulation. This is on Arches paper, by the way. We've got Jade Green. This is PG19, PY150, and PB29, so you get that beautiful green gold glow in there. Rainforest Green, which is PY83, PG19, PB29. Beautiful combinations. I told you earlier the combination for Lunar Blue. Sage Green, which does not look green to me at all. It's an ultramarine blue mixed with a PR101, which is kind of like your, some people use it for burnt sienna, but it's often like your English red or Indian red. It's like kind of heavy, rusty color. PR233, which is Potter's Pink, and PY150. So, I don't know, that to me looks almost like a gray, but these are great stony colors. Twilight PBK11 and PBR6. Sahara PR233, which is your Potter's Pink. PBR7, PY43, which is your yellow ochre. Gorgeous, gorgeous earthy tone there, earthy kind of sandy sably color. Sahara, great sandy color. We've got Dusk, PG18, PB29. We've got Petal Shadow. This was a really good one for rocks. PY3, PB36, and PR123. I don't see the PY3 in there. Interesting. But that's a really pretty one for doing rocks or sand, like mixed with other colors. I like to neutralize these down even further to get my nice texture for sands and whatnot. Dusty Rose, very pretty. PB19, PR233, PB35. PB35 is like your cerulean blue. And of course, if you know your pigments, you can make a lot of the stuff from standard colors on your palette. These are definitely kind of fun additions to put into your palette. But if you have the base colors, I had a whole video on a DIY granulating palette using stuff that was just already kind of standard in a lot of your watercolor collections. So if you are curious about the pigment codes and what colors granulate and what colors don't, how you can figure out what colors you have that granulate, check out that video. I'll link it in the video description so you can find it easily. And the Nebulous is so pretty. It's a PR233 and PV29. So it's your Potter's Pink. It's your ultramarine blue. You may have those colors. I find if you get those basic granulating colors, then you have a lot more versatility. But these are really fun. Look how pretty the amethyst is. PV19, PB29, and PB35. Just really pretty. Those greens, I found those greens to be the most useful, I would say, if you're trying to pick a couple colors that you'll use a lot. Jade Green, Rainforest Green, Twilight, those are the ones I've used the most. But I did use a Petal Shadow quite a bit. So that's what we have for our colors. I want to show you probably the painting I used it the most on. These rocks here in this rock demo, and what we did was we used masking tape to just basically slap down a bunch of masking tape to help us build our rocks. And I had to tear the masking tape into kind of random shapes and then use a little bits left over for back there. And then we brushed over with some really dark mix, like a burnt sienna plus ultramarine, and then we kind of painted over there, let it dry, pulled off the tape, and then we wet each rock and dropped it in the color. And here you can see just some of the softer looks. Now the granulation looks a lot softer here, even though these are both Arches paper, because I was not putting in that much paint. So that's something that you really want to keep in mind when you're looking at granulating colors. And to get realistic results or expectations is that you may use your colors this heavily in a background or something, but you're probably not going to be using it this heavily, so you may not get this much granulation. So that's like lots of water, lots of pigment, that's how you get these results, and letting it just dry naturally. When in real case, if you're painting something light, you're going to get a much more subtle granulation because you're not using that much pigment, right? You need that contrast of that heavy pigment load to get that look. And also, these were done freshly after I kind of set up my palette. The paint really hadn't had a chance to dry out much. So we have these really intense colors. Here, I'd let that paint dry out, and obviously using a lot of water so that I diluted the colors quite a bit. So, just kind of keeping that in mind, you might want to keep your paints in the tubes if you want to get these really bold looks, and then squeeze them out as you need them. Or if you want a more subtle look, letting them dry down in the palette is going to help you get that effect. If you did want to get a bold effect like that with your colors that you put in a palette, just spray them, let them sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then go in and you can get a more robust color from it. So just to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. This is the first thing that I painted with those paints, just because I had some plants growing and I was really curious as to what sort of effects I could get. So I did a wet to wet background here. And you can see the granulation, again, not as bold because I didn't use it as dark. So if we look at these colors that I used in the background, because I didn't use them as strongly as I have them in the swatch, they do look a lot softer. So I think it's really important to show not just a swatch when you're reviewing a product, but actually show the use case in some artwork, because your mileage is going to vary. If you're going to do some really intense backgrounds and use them really wet, you're going to get that crazy granulation. But if you're going to use it more in a natural setting, it's going to be a little bit more subtle. The colors were perfect to do this little pea vine. The colors are beautiful, not a lot of filler, if any filler. I felt like they're really pure. I would really be curious on trying their more standard colors too, because I thought the quality of their granulators were really good. And then some other colors, because I was using these with my standard colors, because I find that granulating colors on their own tend to lack a bit of contrast. They definitely lack a color range, because there's only certain colors that are going to granulate, and they tend to be more muted. So these two I did just with the colors in that set. So it's a more natural muted look. I think it's really pretty, but it definitely is more natural. So that was just with the tube granulating paints. So then when I was using them in my classes in Greece, I was using them with my standard colors. So like those blues are from my standard palette. And then I use them in combination with other colors from my palette. So I used those granulated colors on the rocks. I also did some collaging. So, and it's small, so it's hard to see really. But those were standard colors up there I used in the sky and some of the sea. I did use the granulators quite a bit here, but again, because I used them really lightly, you're not seeing as much of the texture as you would get if you were just as if you were using it really strong. But it did, I think, really give me that stony look. Those were using standard colors. These, I used the granulating colors in this again, but very light. So you get this, you get the granulation and the texture, but it's subtle because I have a lot more water. And I did use it in like those grape leaves and then some of the bread there, just to give it some of that texture. I know I spelled lunch wrong because I wasn't paying attention. I used them in here with some standard colors as well. I feel like they gave a lot of kind of character and moodiness. And I used them in the sky and in the foliage there as well. So I think they're lovely. Are they going to change your whole life? I don't think any art supply is going to change your whole life, to be honest. But I do think that they are definitely to consider if you're looking to get some granulating colors. So these are Jackman's art materials. You can find them on Blick. I will link to them. I will link to their website in the video description. It's if you're just watching this on a TV and you don't have the ability to click, this is how you find them. You can Google Jackman's art materials or jackmansartmaterials.co.uk. They should be available on Jackson's, and I know they're available on Blick. I will link to both places so you can find them, all three places so you can find them easily. Those will be affiliate links, FYI. So if you do make a purchase through those links, then I will earn a small commission. But I will also link to the video using this, and I'm going to keep this palette out handy so I can use it a lot more in my demos. So thank you so much, Jackman's, for sending these paints. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it, and I look forward to picking up some more of these the next time I have an order going into Blick's, because they are really fun, and I love that these powders are light fast, and that's something that you don't see with Brush Show or Ken Oliver Color Burst or any of the other sprinkles out there, like the Lindsay Stamp Gang, and they're the same price pretty much. So getting a light fast product for the same price, I think it's a win. The only thing is with these, you're gonna have to figure out a way to disperse these so you don't spill them. I had a huge spill when I was using these. It was a bummer because you don't really need a lot. A little goes a long way, but it's really easy to spill these. So that's the only downside there. So Jackman's Art Materials, Granulating Watercolors. I like them. I think they're a good buy, and they're really fun to use. So thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this quick tutorial, this quick little review. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.